All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Beantown Banter and Bullshit. I'm Shamrock Holmes too. Welcome. It's been a long week. We've taken a little bit of time here, get everything together, get you guys some good information, some good topics to talk about here. Quickly, I want to share. We want to welcome Platts Landscaping, our main lead sponsor here. Guys, check out Ryan. My buddy's been in business since I've known him. That's way back in high school. We're talking almost 25 years. So welcome, Ryan Platts. Thank you for being our sponsor. Always, guys. Sarah Petrozzi out at Four Seasons Nutrition out in New Brookfield. Go check her out. Since I've been drinking these teas, I haven't needed energy drinks, and that's what it's all about, natural energy. So get there. Also, go see my buddy Bradley out in Barrie at Twitches, 12 Exchange Street. So those are our sponsors, guys. We wouldn't be here without them. So thank you again. Go check them out. As always, we're going to kick the show off here. Let me get back to my buddy, old Lincoln TF. Tom, are you with us?
I'm here, but my video went off. Did you shut it down or did I?
I did. I'm about to bring you right back on, brother. You should have that.
Yeah, there we go.
He is, everybody.
Hello. Oh, fellow Americans, how are you?
my boy, this is 12 years and one day. Me and Lincoln anniversary friendship on Facebook. It's been longer than 12 in real life, but this is what we got. So happy anniversary, my friend.
Happy anniversary. Now, was the first time we became friends after the Rick Rushton thing, or was I already your friends when the Rushton thing happened?
No, we were mutual Facebook people as with the Rick Rushton thing. Rick Rushton popped up on the Big Jim tribute show. He apparently was their roommate. I don't know if you've seen that, but I said he's an enemy of the show, and I didn't get to explain it, but we'll get into the water main thing at some point in this podcast. And don't think you're not untouchable, Rushton.
I did see him pop up, but yeah, the exchange was real quick, and you said enemy of the show, and nothing else was said.
That could turn into an entire podcast by itself. The water main post, I'll never forget it. that was fantastic. Yeah. So how's your week been? I know you're back. You got shook that jet lag off from your Cape trip.
Yeah, no, things are doing well down here. We're hot, but you guys are hot up there too, so nothing to complain about there. I'm working on a project video package for the friend of mine from school, so we're busy with that. Really just taking a nice chilled out summer after a shitty year.
Nothing wrong with that at all. So we're gonna bring Kev. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, Mike.
I can hear you.
Did you want to talk about the Worcester case, or do you want to keep going? Did you want to do that?
No, we're gonna bring Kev on. I'm gonna do that right next. We got everybody welcome Kevin Lenahan from.
Hi guys, nice to see you.
Kev, you're officially 2040 Sports, right?
Yes, and for some reason I'm having a hankering for green eggs and ham right now.
Listen, it must have something to do with. I get it. Hey, don't shake him up. His technology is all right this week. We haven't had an issue yet. Don't get him
man,
nervous.
he's burnt. He's stewing for a wicked comeback right now. It's gonna lay me off into the pond.
Yeah.
I'll give you a pass, maybe.
Yeah, all right. He gets one. All right, guys. So I'm going to screen share this, right? I think this is pretty much how this works. But here in Worcester, yesterday, I guess we had a fellow who likes to beat up on women. I guess he's still on the loose. Let's just share his picture here. His name is Kyle Curley. I guess he worked at Kelly Square Pizza, or he's working there now. He worked for that Go Grande place, but apparently he wanted to beat up his girlfriend, and unfortunately they found her body yesterday. And this guy is still on the loose, and I guess the police are looking for him, is what my information is, and I'm with the direct source, is her sister. Condolences to that family. Hopefully they get this guy, and if anybody sees him, make sure you call the Worcester police. call, whatever. But you know what to do. So good luck. And it's a bad story, man. Domestic violence, we don't support it here. We don't support it in any way, shape, or form. I guess everybody, you know, it's a small city, so he doesn't have a firearm, that's for sure. But
Mike, is he a Worcester native or did he move there from somewhere else? Do you know?
Apparently he's from Warwick, Rhode Island, Pawtucket area, but he frequents Worcester. I guess she was staying at the Hotel Vernon. That's the information that's out there right now. So I mean, unofficially, you know, I don't think they could ever report that he's a guy that they're looking for right now, but it's known. So we bypass that. We go on common sense here. So it is what it is. So all right, let's get into the show. We also want to show love for Jose Rivera. He's been a great guest for us. He's promoting some pretty good fights that are coming up here at the Palladium in Worcester, August 14th. Some good local talent. He wants to bring boxing back to New England, not just Worcester, you know, but he's promoting a lot of good stuff right now. Check him out. It's Rivera Promotions on Facebook. Jose, we love you, but we're going to make that show big. It's already going to be big. So everybody check out the local talent. And that's where we're at. So if you guys,
I would love to see people come back to boxing. I mean, it's nothing against MMA. I think MMA is great, but I think it's just, it's the way the damage it's done to boxing. Boxing's such a great sport.
Yep. And really, I always, I've said this from day one. I've always watched the big fights, you know, the heavyweights and pay-per-views. And I can't call myself a boxing fan, but since I've been talking to Peter McNeely and I've really been getting it, I can't not watch a boxing match when it's on. Like I used to flip right by ESPN. But my understanding, I never understood boxing. Like I understood fighting and anger and that, but boxing is tactics. It's strategy. It's more than throwing the hottest punch. Yeah. I mean, it's impressive. Some of these, and the smaller guys are really, some of these fights are just incredible. And even, you know, a lot of the earlier MMA fights, like the prelims, these guys are fighting there for their career, you know, the money. They're trying to feed their kids fighting. I think boxing is making a comeback. It might not have ever gone anywhere just because I never really paid, a whole lot of attention, but it seems like it's making a good comeback. I dig it.
Yeah, the guys that were featured on, is it Rivera Promotions Entertainment.com? Something, is it Rivera Promotions Entertainment? Yeah, those guys look like monsters. I haven't checked up their records yet, like the images you showed, but I'd watch those guys fight just on basis of looks at them alone. I mean, and some of the guys look pretty big. Some of the guys look like they might be lightweights. Those are fun fights, man. I hope it's a hit. I really do.
Yeah, I don't think you can miss. I don't think you can miss. I really, and you know what? I have never been to a boxing match or an MMA event live. So I think that might be my first one. I think I can admit, I've seen plenty of fights, but not in a structure, not tickets or anything, you know.
The only real boxing match I ever went to was one of those police funded ones down in what's it called, Hall in downtown Worcester. You know, they would do it it's like the old fashioned Centrum. They would do the cops boxing each other and stuff. That's the closest I've ever been to a real fight. And they were good fighters, but they weren't, professional fighters.
I believe
I've been to one in Foxwoods, the Vinny Pazienza comeback fight.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you, I talked about it on your podcast before because it was Sean Fitzgerald, who's a relative of Dave Kenney's, got us into it, even though he didn't actually know us. But it was really exciting. Once you like the early part of the rounds, you would you get there. There's probably like 8 fights or something like this, and you can go and sit down right next to the ring if you get there early enough, because most of the crowd doesn't fill in until the main event, right? And there's blood flying everywhere. I mean, it's kind of nasty, but it's really, it's raw. Like you're down there and you can hear those punches right off the jaws and stuff like that. But it's impressive. And then when the main event comes on, with the TV cameras and the excitement about it, it's something. It's definitely something to see.
Yep, no doubt. All right, so we're gonna bring Mike. Can you hear us? Hold on, wait. Is he? Oh, he's off. Hold up. SO mute.
Oh, he muted it? I did notice that he was muted.
No. Mike, you can hear us, right?
I can hear you.
Hold on. This is the OG Shamrock Holmes. Our boy Mike Moen here.
Up, Mike. Good to see you again.
Michael,
Tom, Kevin, Mike, always
Hey, Mike.
a pleasure.
how you
always a
doing, my
pleasure.
friend? How was your week?
There he is.
My week was great. I actually, so I started at my job in 1998 when I was 24, and I decided I'd had enough like 2 weeks ago. So I gave my notice, and
It's a fucking big deal.
huge deal. Like I was petrified. At times I'm cowering in the car. I was petrified, like, because I didn't have a job. But it all worked out. I, honest to God, like from the heavens, you couldn't ask for a better situation. I just got a job 3 miles from my house. I accepted the position yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And an amazing situation.
Mike, if I can ask, what industry are you in or what field?
So I was production supervisor at a tool manufacturer.
Oh, okay. I know people who worked at Kennedy Tool and Die years ago for years, and I know that sort of business a little bit. Excellent. And you're doing something similar now? Just a different company?
Yeah, it's similar. Like I worked at Lowell Corporation in West Boylston for over 2 decades. And
All right, well, congratulations on a successful first half of your career and good luck for the rest of it, man.
thank you. And I wanted to say briefly, talking about Jose, I brought it up in a previous podcast, but the greatest sporting event live I've ever been to is when Jose fought Collazo.
The Collazo fight. Yeah, I remember you saying
Oh,
that.
God.
Yep, I remember you saying that. I remember that was a huge deal. That was a huge deal. We'll get him on. He's gonna come on again, and we're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff with him, man. I love it.
It was
I think-
amazing. And real quick, Mike, when I messaged you about I wanted to dedicate this podcast. So it's funny because my son, 11-year-old son, brought up, people say like, oh, they were done with 2020, and he's like, but this year has been worse for us. So 6 weeks ago, we buried my father-in-law, so my wife's dad, and the same week, while we were at the funeral services for my father-in-law, I got a call, my grandmother died.
Oh, man.
So we buried them. We buried them both within a week, and then a week later, my wife got a call. Her mother is went to the doctor. She's battling advanced stage 3 cancer, and she started her chemo Tuesday. Sorry, and also her aunt is battling breast cancer. So this is the shirt, but on the back it says, "No one in this family fights alone." So I just wanted to give blessings, to everybody out there who's dealing with a similar situation, because it became real to us like real quick. And it's been a shitty year, but you know what? We're gonna fight through it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike. I really am that you've had to go through that. I've been relatively lucky with family's health, but I know not a lot of people has, and it all comes to all of us eventually. And now I'm glad you took the time to say hello. I hope some of your family members can get to listen to this and watch it and know that you are, keeping up the fight. Like you said, it's tough.
Yep, no doubt, man. No doubt. Mikey.
Mike, I can add this to you. Mike, I just came from some treatments today myself for that at Mass General Hospital in Boston. And my doctor, I always, before I leave, ask him anything new, any new breakthroughs coming. And usually he's like, well, but that's his way of saying no. But today he actually reported on some and he's very prominent in the research too. And he reported there were 2 new antibody treatments that have been really promising and haven't had him this excited in a long time. So, I mean, there's a lot of reason to be hopeful.
Yeah.
So you got to keep her in the
Kevin,
fight and, keep her optimistic.
Kevin, to your point, because I was thinking about this because we had a family gathering, and now my mother-in-law is like, she was like active. She was like the strongest woman you could ever imagine. And I saw on her face, she was terrified, like for the first time I've ever seen her like that.
Yeah.
And asking you, like, how is going through that process? Like, how do you even deal with that as an individual or personally?
I'll tell you what, I can actually provide a nice segue into a sports podcast.
Hey, Kev, I dig it.
When I this is the honest to God truth. When I was told 2.5 years ago that I had terminal cancer, my doctor had just told me this was the first time I had learned that I even had cancer, but they found it had already spread widespread. My first thought was, how am I going to tell my family? My second thought was, okay, we got to find a way to fight this. But then strangely enough, my third thought, and I believe this was the Celtics season was about to start with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. And my third thought, while I'm in there with the doctor, was, I got to make it to see what happens at the end of the Celtics season. I swear to God, that was like, I was so excited about the season. I was like, I got to call me crazy, but
I believe that 1,000,000%. I believe that 1,000,000%, no doubt.
Unfortunately, I did make it to the end and I saw what happened, but I mean, good fortunate that I made it. But
yeah, some of us might have made that trade-off, Kev. Tim doesn't make it, but the Celts do. Call the wash. He said it himself.
What kind of fan are you?
Yeah, seriously.
It shows you how like sports brings family together, like a lot of times, because I know it does in my family. Like tonight, my 7-year-old, he's starting fall tackle, so we went for the sizing for his pads and everything, and they had a raffle.
Awesome.
They had a raffle for the kids, and he won a football signed by Gronk.
That.
Yeah.
Signed by who? Signed by who?
Gronk.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yep. That's a good one.
Also, guys, I don't know if you guys.
When he was still a Patriot.
I don't know if you guys had seen, but when we first started this whole thing, right? It was supposed to be, I was into sports cards and everything, and people were raffling off, different cards or, so I want to give a shout to, it's Rams's Rad Room on Facebook. They just gave me a free spot in a raffle for a Tom Brady football, a signed Tom Brady football. They're doing great things. It's, sports memorabilia. It's a bunch of guys that have the hobby. They love the game, and it's a bunch of local guys too. It's a bunch of good stuff.
I got a suggested link, and I saw that you were mutual friends, so I clicked on it. It's like Rams Rod with like 5 Z's and like a bunch of things. Rams Rods.
I have no idea where it came from, honestly, but you know what? Like I said, it's a lot of cool stuff. But a few bucks, you can win a big item. They had a Lawrence Taylor helmet the other day. A lot of good local
I'll start liking and sharing those more now that I know that it is deliberate. Know the people. Okay, cool.
Definitely check them out. It's my man Mike Demers. It's my man Ricky Peppers and Mike Gregorio. Those three. I mean, they got a lot of good stuff coming. So everybody.
Hey, I'd like to just say one thing that before I forget, that Mike just triggered this thought in me. When he was talking about how sports brings us together, one of the things that occurred to me is that's really the best thing about this particular podcast and the way Mike is doing it. And I know the way Mike even feels about doing it and the way it makes him feel, and about, the seeing the various people from the Worcester area in particular, but that people that have left Worcester and moved on, seeing them come together and the new friends he's brought in and stuff like that. I know that gives him an extra gratification, and it's really been a great part of this podcast. Maybe that's the heart of this podcast too.
That's how I measure the success. Legit. I mean, honestly, it means. But all right, we're moving on. We're gonna move on to sports.
Before we start crying.
Yeah, that's it. So,
this concludes today's episode of Oprah.
Hold on, I gotta take myself off here for a sec. Oh, yeah. But who caught the game last night? Suns game.
I didn't catch it live, but I was so psyched this morning. I watched more highlights. I probably would have spent less time watching the actual game. They just housed them. And Chris Paul, as you guys know, I'm in Winston-Salem. He went to high school a couple miles down the road from me. Local hero, comes back every summer, does the camp for the kids, all that. People here are just ecstatic. And so am I. He's, I don't know the guy, never talked to him. But from all I understand, he's one of those guys who would have been a fucking Karl Malone or Charles Barkley. I mean, he still has to win it. You know what I mean? But he was that good as a point guard. He really is.
They got to win it. Suns in 4,
yeah, he's
baby.
Gotta win it.
He's a flopper. He's a flopper.
Okay.
Oh, they're all floppers. Give me a fucking break. He's a flopper. Dude, everybody flops.
But he was revenge flopping last night. He was revenge flopping. Like, he did, and he is that guy. But I'll tell you, to watch how pumped up and the emotion he played with last night, that was incredible. That was your point guard general right there, going at the Clippers. Nobody wanted a piece of Chris Paul last night. He didn't back down from anybody.
No, he's a baller. He's a baller.
But Jay Crowder last night was unbelievable.
I saw his highlight. Yeah, I agree.
He's been unbelievable through the entire playoffs. The Suns have. Saric is the first guy from the process to actually make the finals. The Sixers got, I saw that as a meme today, and I was like, oh shit. So that's funny. DeAndre Ayton, I seen a meme, not a meme, but a post earlier in one of my groups. They said, watch out, because Ayton and Luka Doncic were in the same draft, right? Well, if you drafted them today, somebody said they would take, no, they weren't in the same draft. Someone said they would take Ayton over Doncic, and it's DeAndre Ayton. Ooh. I went at him very hard. My initial reaction was, are you on crack? When someone mentioned that, but that kid is a monster, an absolute rebounding monster. He's coming into his own offensively too. But with Booker, with Crowder, nobody is going to beat them. Suns in 4.
What do you guys think about either Beal or Lillard coming to the Celtics?
Well, I'd take either one of them, and I guess nowadays I would take Lillard over Beal. Like everything else, it depends on money, pieces moving. I mean, like cap space and all that shit. I haven't looked into that too much. I used to love Bradley Beal. I still like him, but Lillard this year, it seems like he had like 10 highlight games where he was just nuts. So
it depends what we have to give up. That matters.
And will it be an equal cost?
You gotta give up Brown. Either way.
You gotta give up Brown? Okay.
I don't want Lillard if we gotta give up Brown. I think we can do okay.
The question too is can Lillard and Tatum coexist? And I think they're friends off the court. So I don't mean can they get along, but two guys that want to be shooting the ball at the end of the game, that very seldom has made sense in the NBA. You gotta have guys in their roles.
I know one thing. I know Lillard's going to be a Celtic or a Laker next year. It's going to be one of those two.
Why?
That's my call. My own opinion, just from what I've seen.
How could the Lakers pay? How could the Lakers pay him?
I have no idea, but they'll make it work.
No, that's sort of what I was getting at earlier. Sometimes these trades sound great, and then you look at like their contract status and years left, and it's like we can't actually do it.
I don't even know if the luxury tax even matters. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I mean, out of their pocket, but there's no real limit.
No, the cap is a hard cap. You can go over the tax only to keep your own players. But once you're over the tax, once you're over the cap, you can't go out and sign. So there's no way. It literally is against the rules for the Lakers to go out and sign a big free agent now or acquire one by trade unless they trade off matching salary. And even, you can go over the cap just when you keep your own players. That's the way the NBA.
Okay, I get that.
Kevin, to your point, can they play together? I was listening to EI and they were talking about how, whether players are friends on or off the court, and they were talking about how Bird and McHale were never close outside of the game.
Yeah.
It was strictly on the court. And it seems like back then it was strictly business. There was no personal feelings. And now all of a sudden it's,
yeah, but when I say they play together, I'm not talking about their friendships. I'm talking about, so Bird and McHale were the perfect matchup. Bird liked to drop the ball into Kevin in the low post. But here you have a situation, does Tatum really match up with Lillard? Both these guys want to dribble the ball around and shoot at the end of a game. I mean, granted, Lillard was with McCollum for the last few years. McCollum also likes to shoot, and he's a big-time player. So I'm not saying it can happen. I don't know. And
Now,
the same question with Beal, so.
Now, one of the scenarios that I saw with Lillard coming here, if there's a Lillard with McCollum trade and then Brown is gone, I'm with that. If they're getting rid of both those guys and we're going to eat that contract, but we need something. Lillard's not going to take the place of Brown and whatever else they do. You bring McCollum with Lillard somehow, but I don't want to get rid of Smart either.
There's no way.
I don't want to get rid of Smart. It would be Brown, Smart, Robert Williams, Langford, and draft picks or something.
Lillard is like a fucking soup sandwich. That would never work.
I agree, but realistically, that's what would have to happen. But
yeah,
so Lillard is a much better player than Brown, and the only thing is Lillard is like 31, I believe, and Brown is like 25. But Brown's not going to really get any better than he is right now. Brown is what he is. He's at his peak. And Lillard is a great player.
Well, all right. If you believe Brown isn't getting any better, then you obviously take Lillard over him. Because, the only argument for Brown is that he's younger and can improve. And we don't... No,
that he can do it for longer.
Or do it for longer, okay. Okay. Like to have more endurance. So that would be the argument against it.
No, not endurance. I mean, more years.
Well,
Brown's only 25, so
we're only gonna get him for 3 or 4 at a time anyway, right? So
I know, but I'm just in theory.
If he plays with 35, he's on the fucking Sixers, by then.
But these guys start to. You look at like with Kemba Walker. These guys, especially these smaller guards, they start to decline after they get 31 years old. They go down fast. So I don't know.
All right. I would say if we could do I know we can't because of the rules. If we could do a one-up swap for Brown and Lillard starting next season, obviously other moves would be made. I would do it. I would too.
No, I would too. Just because he's that much better. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do Brown tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's all.
Whatever. Well, what the fuck ever then? I'll buy fucking Brown. Look at JB. And I have to admit, JB has a picture with Mike Finnegan. Enough said.
All right. Well, that give him an extra second-round pick for that. Fucking.
Yeah. Shout out to Barber fucking Industries or whatever.
Barber Fishing Gear or Barber Fishing Company. Yeah,
that was your memory today, right? It had to be.
It was.
I had one.
Yeah, it was for like an iPhone case, but I don't have an iPhone, so I didn't share it.
So if we trade Brown, do we have to trade Finnegan too?
Yeah, Finnegan's gone. He's gone.
I wanted to bring up your thoughts on Pedroia.
I hate the guy. He sucks. No, why? What'd he do? I love him. What'd he do? Something happened?
I'm gonna give myself a shout. I just wrote up that Pedroia blog this week. It took me all day to do it, just getting the right pictures in or whatever. But the Boston Red Sox actually approved it. The actual official Boston Red Sox Facebook page.
Excellent.
They had the ceremony for him.
Yep. I think they have like 1.1 million people, and 50 people took a look at my post. I'm making it. I'll get there one.
You guys. Oh yeah, so he was put in the Red Sox Hall of Fame or something, right? Or was it retired number or Red Sox Hall of Fame? Both. I don't know.
You know what's great? I know more about Dustin Pedroia this week than I've ever known in my entire life. Honestly, and it's awesome. Did you know he gave up his last 2 years of scholarship so they could spend it on pitches in college at Arizona State. I never knew that until this week, and I'm not ashamed of that. I just don't think a big enough deal was made of that. But that's the type. He's basically the Red Sox Tom Brady, second base.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows he played hard. He played hurt every year. He was done 2 years ago. I know that's also what I said, but
Hey, Mike, what do the Red Sox and this podcast have in common?
what's that?
I'm a fan.
The Green Monster.
The Green Monster is right.
I'm not gonna slap back until you make a good one, Jerry. My hand looks green. All right. I don't know why. I got professional lighting up in this bitch. Maybe
The Green fucking Monster, baby.
Hey, where do I get some of those energy drinks?
Yep.
No, don't you said they have no sugar? Those ones that what's your sponsor have that you're drinking?
She does teas, coffee, like Herbalife stuff. You get your protein, and it's a lot of like skincare, protein.
Vodka tonics.
You add vodka to whatever. You know what? Don't. Hey, keep that DL. Wait, that's our next thing. We'll open the nutrition with alcohol site.
Well, from now on, I expect to be paid in energy drinks. You can send me one.
Well, absolutely.
What do you guys think about the Gilmore situation?
I think he signed a contract.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, he was the highest paid. His contract made him the highest paid player in football.
What's actually happening? What is it? Where is that scenario right now?
He's unhappy because he's only getting $8 million a year because he's at the end of his contract.
Yeah.
So.
But he's looking for a new contract, basically.
Yeah.
all right. What kind of window does he have to negotiate that before we get into like holdout territory? I know he didn't show up for some of the workouts, but how far are we away from the drop dead date? Is that coming up?
He doesn't seem like a holdout kind of guy, so I don't think he will hold out. He's obviously unhappy because he's done some tweets about it, but not much. He's he's not really a guy that likes to be, making a whining on center stage and stuff. So I think he'll play. I think he's at this point, he's negotiating with them, and he probably wants a 3-year contract that'll again make him the highest paid player, or at least the highest paid cornerback. And the question, and he's close to worth it, but he's also at that point where he might be starting to decline too. So the Patriots might be reluctant to give him another, 2-3 years. So yeah, I think it's got to be in negotiation.
Yeah, it sounds negotiable because everyone would recognize $8 million would be undervalued, but again, he probably doesn't deserve like whatever he got, like the front loaded part. I hope they can work that out because without him, man, he's actually like a great bright spot.
They did something very unusual last year, very un-Patriot-like. They were under the cap, and at the start of the season, without getting anything back in return from him, they gave him an extra $5 million on his contract because I think it was $5 million because his contract was low last year too. So I mean, that was like a kind of show of confidence there, I think, on their part. Hopefully that bought them some goodwill from them.
Good faith. I hope so.
Yeah.
It's a good question because without him, that's a whole nother hole we got to deal with. And Patriot season's going to be honest faster than you think. I mean, we're going to start seeing. It's going to like by a few weeks from now, we're going to be seeing it, which is great. It is, but that means we got to focus in on that shit, like trying to figure this out. And him being on the team.
This is where we take off. Football is where we take off. And in the words of the great Teddy KGB, pay the man his money. Gilmore,
he knows that they have the cap money. And Bill, I don't think at this point can afford to not pay this man.
Give him his money. Hey, give him his money.
He got his money. He got his money. He was the highest paid player for a couple of years.
Give him whatever he wants this year. If he wants.
No, that's not how. We didn't stay on top by doing business that way. If we had that attitude, the Patriots would have had a run of about 2 or 3 years, and then they would have become the Buffalo Bills. You know what I'm saying? You got to have.
Times have changed.
Reverse the bad karma of letting Tom Brady go. Reverse it. You have to change it. We're going to get blown out of the water. I want Gilmore. This is the year. If we don't do it this year,
No, he's going to play. He's under contract for a year. He'll play. He's not going to sit there.
we're down 2 championships if we don't do what we have to do this year to win. Brady takes it down this year if we don't beat him.
They're going to do what they're going to do. And you watch that guy Duggar. He's going to be.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I hope so. But look at, just do whatever we have to do to win this year. Don't let Gilmore go. You can't.
You're not going to let him go. No, and I don't think he's going to sit out. He's still getting $8 million. It's not like
the only way he doesn't play with us is if he sits out, violates his contract, doesn't get paid, goes through like one of those fucking Ricky Waters phases or whatever the fuck it is. Which doesn't seem likely. That, I mean, maybe it is, but
also the outside factor here is Gilmore has very extreme local ties to Worcester. Rashad Gilmore is known around Worcester, and that's his cousin. When he played for the Bills, like they were, he's got ties locally, so I hope he's got that heart. I know he does, but money changes people. I hope it didn't. We need him. We need Gilmore. Gilmore is a lockdown. There's not many of those left. How did you can say what you want?
Stop Mac Jones. Like, stop this nonsense. Stop Mac Jones, please.
What'd you say? Start Mac Jones?
Start him. Game 1.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, a week or two ago, probably ever since the draft. We got to see what happens in preseason. How many, I don't know. We got to see what happens. I would not be shocked if Max starts just because of things I read, but the safe play is to start Cam. I don't know.
Hey, guys. So I'm about to go into enemy territory. Consider me like reconnaissance in force. And hopefully he'll allow me to send for reinforcements. I'm going into a New York podcast.
You're like Pedro in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, who's my daddy? Well, we're their daddy now. I mean, man, we just swept the Yankees 2 series in a row. And Brian Vick is a huge New York. He's a huge fan for all the teams except for the Raiders. We had him on here once before. He's not a Jets fan. Who the hell could be a Jets fan? He's a Raiders fan, but he is a huge Yankees fan, and he loves the Knicks and the Nets and stuff like that. So I'm gonna head over there for a little bit because I had committed to him earlier, and so, but we'll consider it. I'll go in full of hostility.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. They're not enemies. I've actually listened to a couple of the podcasts. They're cool sports people, but they're New York based. But I don't want to light into them the second they get in here. Don't immediately jump on them because that.
What was the name? Give them the introduction. What's the name of their? I forgot already.
Oh, I think they call it Fourth Down Magic. Based out of 2040sports.com. They've got a podcast. I don't think they only have one episode called Fourth Down Magic. And they're just sort of getting started up. But like I said, I've listened to them both a couple times. They're intelligent, knowledgeable sports fans. So, and pretty funny. So they'd be a nice addition to any conversation.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm going to head over and I'm going to either drag you guys over there or I'll see if I can drag them over.
Figure out
here.
that.
I'll try to drag them over here.
All right. Bye, Kev.
All right, Kev.
All right. See you guys.
So back to the basketball conversation. I don't know if you guys seen Mike. Did you check Reggie Jackson last night at all from the Clippers?
No, I mean I watched some highlights of the games, but I did not watch the game.
No, but Tom, did you see any of it?
I read reports of Reggie Jackson. I think you posted Reggie Jackson as the MVP or something. Did you post that?
I did. So in that game, he pretty much clinched them out. He clinched the Suns out in that game. He went on like an 8-point run that really nailed the coffin shut. And he played with such heart through that whole thing. It was amazing.
Yeah, man.
But at the end of last night's game, when they lost, he was at the podium in tears. Like the heart that dude displayed last night is what I love about sports. And
he's a Boston College kid, and I remember watching him often. and thinking, oh, wow, this guy, he really is going to get drafted. I wasn't really sure he was going to get drafted or how high, because, there's so many of those guys that come through schools like Boston College, and sure enough, now we are, 10 years after he's drafted? I don't even know how long he's been, 5, 10 years, whatever it is. And now, just for him to be able to make a mark like that and still care so much, again, it's a great reason to love sports.
Heart. He cried and he thanked them for bringing him onto the team. Like he left, I think it was OKC, but he got recruited there, and he loved it. He had a great,
That brings me back to my point about the Celtics. Like, where the fuck is the heart? Where's the fire? I just don't understand with all the talent. Like there's nobody stepping the fuck up.
I'll tell you, I like Evan Fournier. I feel like he had heart. I feel like Tatum is gonna just be an animal. I mean, Tatum is gonna be a fucking poison, a destroyer.
Should be already though. He should be like that already though.
He is. He scored 53 times this year. He took that team on his back, but I think he's on that point where he's on that, and I hate to use it as the comparison, but that Kobe Bryant line where do you take the whole entire thing on your shoulders or do you include the entire team? And quite frankly, there weren't people he could really trust when Brown wasn't in this year. I mean, Fournier had heart. Kemba Walker really was the soft spot, and I love Kemba, but that was the breakdown. That was the breakdown.
He wasn't physically right for some reason.
Yeah. Well, the rumor is though he didn't do what he had to do. He wasn't following.
I think it was a lot like he wasn't mentally right either, or wasn't loving his.
He had some issues, and he started branching out onto blaming the Boston crowd and the whole anxiety of everything too. So that right there is an excuse, and I don't like excuses. He can go. I love Kemba. I love this heart, but. I think his career is not far from over. I think this is one of those ones that making the right call on. Now, do we go out and get Lillard or do we stick with Peyton Pritchard? And I think Pritchard needs, more guidance, I think he can be the guy, but we just don't know. He needs a little bit more guidance. Dame would be a great fit, obviously, but I don't want to see JB go either. And I think, like I said, we got the right coach in. We're bringing Stoudemire in. That's what I heard too. I think, who knows? I don't know. Who knows what the answer is, but we're going to find out.
Well, I'm always like, what have you done for me lately? I'm like, I'm always like, and I'm not rational all the time, but I'm like, blow it up. Fuck it. Like, and it's not always the right decision, but it's like at some point, like something needs to be done.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for slow and steady improvement, but again, with the way contracts and drafts work, that's not always easy. You move in like big leaps or tiny little increments, and sometimes go backwards. But I don't want to blow up the JB and JT combo yet, unless we could do some big deal like you were talking about. But again, we're so far out of our asses, you know what I mean? Because now we don't even know what the GMs are thinking, because they have all those other things to worry about with the length and age and all that.
Yep.
I mean, I got 6 kids with 4 baby mamas, so I'm not about waiting around.
Jesus Christ, Shaquille, relax. Get a rubber. Wait,
what was that? Travis Henry. Easy, Travis Henry.
Cromartie.
Yes. Yeah. Like 13 kids or a dozen kids.
Take a seat, Phillip Rivers.
That's right. He's another one.
So how about, I don't know, did you guys see Patrick Beverley either? Patrick Beverley, this series, I fucking hate him. I think everyone else who's ever played against him or watched this guy fucking, he was like a character out of a movie. It didn't even seem like, what was he doing? He was like a cartoon Marcus Smart. I don't get it. I don't get what he was even doing.
That's like Booker. That's like watching Booker play. I never realized how nasty that dude was.
Dude, Booker, that Booker is fast. And he makes that move to the middle and that little jump shot from 12, 15 away. He's got it down point, dude. And when Stephen A said last week that he was the next Kobe, he moves like Kobe. Like when he lifts off, he can still move and contort himself to make that shot to get open. It's unreal. And he has no emotion. He's cold-blooded. Beverly was in his face the entire game. And he didn't even pay attention, nothing.
I can't fucking stand Stephen A. Like that dude, I can't even honestly watch him. And it's like when Jason Williams tweeted about the first Celtics black head coach. It's like they don't even fucking pay attention to anything.
Dude, I know. That was the worst because I immediately thought of Casey Jones and Doc Rivers. And then I'm like, fuck. Yeah, and then I'm like, Bill Russell was a coach. And then I looked it up, or I heard Jerry Callahan mention Tim
and Mel Cobb.
Like Sam Sanders was a fucking coach. I mean, then ML Carr was a fucking coach. How do you forget all of those people?
They've had six, right? They've had six.
Jeez, yeah, I didn't forget one.
Now let me make it human. Because I've been the dude, I overpost. I don't even think I have friends anymore because of how much I post sometimes on Facebook. You snap post.
That's the opposite of how it's supposed to work.
You snap post, right? Now that is just an instance of a celebrity snap posting just on emotion with no facts, and I'm guilty. I'm saying I'm guilty. It's happened to me. That guy got caught because the minute a celebrity posts, there's 2 million people that watch that. Snap, screenshot, and that guy is toast. That you're walking a fine line, but you sleep in the bed you make, He made a mistake.
But to me, whether it's my job or life or family, I admit immediately when I made a mistake.
And really, what else can you ask for in the entire world? Because when someone asks me something, I say, yes, I did that and I fucked up. That's it. And that's it, man. That's it. That's all you got to do. But
now, Mike, you were hacked. You were definitely hacked.
Never. Not one time in my entire life have I been hacked. I may have to go back at some point in the future and say I got hacked. But as of right now, I don't recall.
No, to me, it just shows just like a callous disregard for the truth. He heard Boston. He thought racist. He threw it out there. But literally, it would have taken him 2 seconds to go to Wikipedia or Google. Celtics coaches all time. Read the name. He would have recognized him. He's an NBA player. He knows who those guys are. It's not like he wouldn't know Bill Russell was a black dude, or ML Carr was a black dude, or Casey Jones, or Doc Rivers was a black dude. He would have known it with 2 seconds. I don't really. Also, I understand you're excusing it because it's like the instant post. But to me, instant means after 5 seconds. Still give it the 5 seconds.
You take the responsibility for it, and also, I think it helps the argument come together. That people just talk out of their ass. So you got to take whatever you see and use that as what you go by, not what somebody insta posts, or not by one person's opinion does not mean the rest of the world thinks that way, and it might be a mistake. And look how many people look at that, and just how many people else reposted that and talked about that later on that entire day, and that rumor goes that, and now it is what it is.
Yeah.
You gotta.
There'll be a bunch of people 10 years from now who will remember that more than the correction. You know what I mean? They'll remember that. They'll hire some other black coach. Like, the first black coach in Celtics history. It's just irresponsible for somebody with a position to influence 2 million people. It's something
that is the word right there to explain the entire thing. Irresponsible.
Yeah, it's just
that's all it is. But also in the same respect,
Mike.
I'm guilty. We're all guilty at some point. Jason Williams has not been a bad dude. He's not been a bad dude. He doesn't. I don't think he means he made a mistake, and that's it. We all make
Mike, you can attest to this, to all the shit we're fed on social media, to where, you know, this whole racism thing has been blown up. And yeah, I might have an opinion about something, but at the end of the day, like, you know, all this the racism shit is bullshit. Because I know how you grew up, you know how I grew up, and I had friends. I didn't have black friends or white friends. I had friends and a crew. We ran together, and it didn't fucking matter, like where you came from or what color your skin was.
You're right, but you know what? If there's right and wrong ways to go about it, I think, and I don't think anybody's opinion is necessarily wrong. If that's how they feel, or that, you know, but there's right and wrong ways to go about everything. There's a right way to discuss things. There's a right way to do everything, you know, and I feel like we were at a point where everybody could discuss it without getting mad, and that's how things should be. Everybody has a right to their opinion, but just because of what that guy did on that street corner C doesn't mean that dude over down there on street corner A mean the same thing. Nobody's growing up the same. Nobody is the exact same, but you got to respect that guy's opinion without getting mad. That guy's got to respect your opinion without getting mad. And that's it. It's a discussion. And I think that's what you see mostly in the streets or at bars in public. It's not what you see on the news. And
that's a great point, Mike. I also, both Mikes, I also grew up with, you know, relatively white, but we had black friends right there, you know, every religion, you know, race. And then I was in the Army, man. I'm bunking with fucking guys of fucking every race you can imagine. Some of them from Detroit, some of them from Alabama, California, New York. You don't know. I mean, you eventually know. And you're right. It's the quality of the person that matters. Anyone with any life experience already knows that. Yeah, you know, nobody who's a racist has a fucking clue. You know what I mean? Like you said, right. You judge a guy by his skin.
But also, to make it realistic is these are our three opinions. What we have seen, we've also not seen what that person who was talking about it has seen. You know, so you can't just dismiss it. You got to just talk about it normally, like I think we do. Like
I don't think it's a character failure. Like if you grow up in like a Nation of Islam family and church and stuff, you're gonna feel a certain way about certain things. You grow up in a hardcore Catholic or hardcore like Baptist, whatever, then you're gonna feel a certain way. But eventually, your character should kick in, and you should know. You know, like, no matter what religion, if it's worthy, you should say, "Don't shit on people you don't know." No matter what religion. Don't do that. That's not your point.
And have an open mind, like that. You don't have to be on that guy's same page, but you can discuss it.
That's how I would frame things like that. At the occasional times is, oh, what I learned was this. What did you learn? Right. You know, and then you sort of compare and contrast. Basically, it's all off the same text, especially talking about religion or even politics, the Constitution, how to translate certain amendments. Like, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to you?
Right.
But yeah,
as Mike, I wanted to bring up the fact of how you took, you know, a giant leap and took a chance with your new venture in life, and how I did, and after so many years at my job and like took a chance. I want to reiterate to people, take the fucking leap. Like, I hesitated for so many years, and looking back, I don't regret it. I wish I did it sooner, but I just wanted to give you kudos and living out your dream and doing what the fuck you're doing, and tell people in my situation where I'm so happy that I took a chance. And don't be worried, don't be scared. Like, we're only here for a short time.
Of course.
So we need to fucking do what the fuck we need to do.
I appreciate it, Mike. Believe me, I agree with you 100%, man. I'll tell you, it's you too, Tom, man. It's just a small venture with, you know, Dave. My man Whitey back in the mix. Look at this. Everybody, welcome my man Dave Kenney. Whitey, how you doing, my man?
Hold on, guys. I don't know how I got rid of you.
I didn't say it. Where now? Are you home? Where are you? You look like you're at.
I'm standing on my porch. Two daughters just had fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How you
yeah.
hanging in there, my friend? How you doing?
Every day's a battle, but you gotta hang in there. That's the game.
Yep.
It's not a game. It's not a game. It's life.
It is, man. It is. We everybody. Dave's here. Dave lost his wife this week. Our condolences to him. He's part of our family. I know you had a
Sincere
tough week.
condolences, Dave. Kev told me, and I imagined for a minute what my life would be like if that had happened to me, if my wife is gone, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, man. So bless you. I really hope things go okay.
Guys, this that brings a lot of stuff, man. It really does. It brings people together, or it separates them.
No doubt.
Alcohol does not help during these times. It definitely don't. It definitely don't help. I'm against alcohol, even though I'm an alcoholic. I never drank in 30 years, But people need something. Words hurt. You guys be nice to people,
That's it. That's the bottom line, my man.
It's I got a whole different outlook on life. I got two girls that lost their mother. It's tough. It's definitely tough. It's tough dealing with emotional issues.
I don't mean to be down. Dave,
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Blessings. I'm not brought up on the current situation, and I apologize if I bring something that's hard to talk about up. But I'm wondering what happened with your wife.
So she was sick for a couple of years, and she had a massive heart attack on Father's Day, 3 a.m. I'm the only one home, and I kept pumping and pumping. It seemed like forever, guys.
Well,
Definitely seemed like forever, but it can happen to any one of you. Look at your wives, and you got problems. Work them out. Work them out. Happen any minute.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that, and we were bringing up earlier because my mother-in-law has advanced stage 3 cancer. She was just diagnosed like out of the blue like 2 weeks ago, and my wife's aunt is battling breast cancer, and my mother-in-law is battling ovarian cancer, and it's just it really makes you think, and sit back and realize what's really important in life, and a lot of times we take situations and people for granted, and I urge people to not do that.
Well put. I quit drinking when my kids were young. I wasn't in the bar room. I was with them all the time. My wife worked. I was with my kids all the time. Time with kids is the most important thing going. Time, giving kids time.
yeah,
A lot of guys are in the bar room on Friday, Saturday night, hungover, babysitters, doing golf, for going bowl. They got kids at home. I wasn't, I was the guy at home with the kids. In the writings that I found from my kids, how much they appreciate that, and they see that other families fighting in divorce, and guys, I had my tough times. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But I'm so regretful. I'm so grateful, that my kids seen what I put into it, and it's, I'm not done yet. I'm definitely not done yet. They need my help. My health ain't that great, but they need me. I gotta smarten up, pull my pants up, and go to the doctors, get what I gotta get done, and stay alive for them. And to all you dads out there, words hurt to your kids, man. You gotta give them time.
I see so many times where, recently it was just a quick story, but my dad's girlfriend, so her grandkids, Her son called her because they needed people to work the concession stand because they couldn't even get a fucking parent to work the concession stand at a fucking soccer game. Like, and I personally,
The sad part about it, guys, is that's them and the parents that are, you know, dropping off the kids and going into the bar rooms while all the coaches are out there babysitting their kids. That's what it is today. A
I
babysitter.
call it the stop, drop, and roll. They just pull up,
Babysitter.
pick the kid out
I
of
never-
the car.
But guys, I've never missed it. My kids played 3 sports at St. Peter Marion. I didn't miss games. I coached. I was there all the time. I didn't miss it.
I
unless
don't
was
miss a
sick.
practice. I don't miss a practice.
Exactly. No, I didn't. I was the guy that was there. You know, not in the bar rooms.
But
And
times have changed, unfortunately.
And what's made it worthwhile is coming to my daughter's senior paper. She wrote about our relationship. Exactly what I'm telling you about. And it
Oh,
you know,
That's so special. It's so special.
yeah, you can't beat that stuff, guys. You can't beat it. It's money. You couldn't give me $10 million for what I got. That's just being a father to my kids, and it means the world to me. And I still got it. We still got to carry on. It's tough, man. Well, I'm having some tough times, but you got to pull your pants up. You got to do it. It's, you know, and you got to be nice to people and hope other people that, you know, you don't see the struggles in other people, what they have. A lot of people hold it in.
No, I mean,
You got to talk, you know, talk to people, get it out there.
I wasn't always the best father, but
So I look at this show. Like I met Mike not too long ago, but I look at this, you guys, and you're getting the word out there, right? No matter if it's bullshit banner or this is real shit I'm talking about, right? This is downright fucking real shit.
Yep, we're talking about
And
heart.
you're spreading the word, you know, and what you're doing is a good thing, and keep it up. And I support it. You know, I spread your word, everything you do, good, bad. You got the whole picture here.
Dave, me and you are on the same page. We're trying to spread heart. Money doesn't mean a thing. Heart, man. Heart, family, loyalty, respect for each other, help each other, positivity, you know, build each other. Let's not bring each other down. That's what we're about. I think me and you are the same. We're the exact same, you know?
So
yeah, Mike, to your point, it's like with the loyalty and heart, it's like I've noticed, like I don't want any new friends anymore. I don't trust anybody. I don't tell people my personal business.
That's a sad thing too, you know. It's
It really
but it's
is.
gotta be it is that it's where we are today, man. It's where we are. Your circle's tight. You gotta keep your circles tight.
Has to be.
You know, the way it is right now. Boom, you can lose your wife or your kid. You can lose your kid on a drought. Imagine that.
It's true, man.
Unbelievable. It's time is to keep the kids. When you get older, you never forget what your old man gave you time, or you never forget if your old man was in that bar room. My dad died when I was 5. I didn't have a dad. You know, I didn't have that dad going to me to baseball games, watching me. That's why I never missed a game. I quit drinking. I didn't have that.
Right.
I searched for that.
Yep, you're 100% right, man. And you're right about what you said. I'll never forget.
And it bothers me to this day. This death brings me back to me not having my dad. But reading that paper from my kids, man, I've cried more than any fun. Reading that paper almost destroyed it. It was my daughter's final for UMass. My wife kept it from me because she said the kids love me more than her, but that's sad shit to even say on podcasts, you know, but it's what I've been searching for my whole fucking life. And these kids appreciate it, even though they're having the toughest time right now. I got to be strong for them. Like I said, I got to keep my pants on. I'm having a tough time myself.
Well, no, hey, listen, man.
A lot of struggles in life. I'm just saying, you know, be kind to each other. Words hurt, man.
Yep, you're 100% correct, man.
Too much and not spending time with your kids. If you have problems with families over money, work it out, man. Work it out. If someone you can't get along with, stay away. You know, my circle's small. It's definitely small.
Yeah.
And Dave, just to echo your point, I looked back at my life. I'm 50. I regret very few things I did, but I regret a lot more things I said. To people, just trying to be a dick, being mean, like, especially within family or close friends. Things I did were never bad, but the things I said, probably hurt them more than I wanted to. But, and you're right, that's something to avoid, to remember those words fucking linger. I've had people come up to me 10 years after I've forgotten it and be like, shit, I didn't mean that, man. Or, so that's a good lesson.
Yeah, with all the shit my family's gone through this year, like my dad and I were having like a tough time. And I legit called him and said, Dad, enough of the bullshit. Like, we need to stay close. Like, close family, like, never mind all the trivial shit that goes on. Like, we need to right now be here for one another and have a solid relationship no matter what the bullshit is going on outside in the world. Like,
and some of the dads don't listen because it's hard to
trust me, Dave. I see it all the time.
You know what you feel, man. It's hard to, but that's what I got from these, from what we're going through, is how much my kids appreciated me being there. And you can't take, like I told you,
like
money can't buy that shit.
You brought up being at the games and practices. It's like, and I see parents like they're on their phone the whole entire time while the game's going on. It's like, then they're disconnected.
Even in guys, I coached my kids for like 4 or 5 years. They drop their kids off and then they're complaining that the kids wouldn't make practices, and they're complaining the kids ain't playing.
Right.
It's just if you're a babysitter today, it's all you are. It's hard to get good people to keep. We had a podcast about a guy that gives us time. He doesn't even have kids. What was his name, Mike?
Oh, the baseball coach.
Yeah, he doesn't even have kids.
Oh, who the hell was it?
He
Oh,
coached
Steve
Jesse
Sargent.
Burkett.
Yeah, Steve Sargent.
There you go. Yep. And my kids played Burkett, all during the window. The girls were in this. As far as not as far as the boys, but at that time the boys went to the World Series. The girls, both leagues were. We won the states and all that shit. Again, that's the precious stuff I have in here. You don't forget that stuff.
Oh yeah.
You definitely don't get it.
I played for Burkett, and I was terrible. My brother was a good athlete, so it was worth his while. But my father would get off work from downtown and be up there at 5:30, whatever it was, for practices and games, and on Saturdays, Sundays, whatever. And those are still, even though I sucked and barely played, I still remember those days more than any other from my childhood days. My dad just being there like, Tom, throw the freaking ball. Like, all right. And yeah, those are huge moments that their parents don't know what they're missing, I think. They would, they don't need to be talking to their buddy on the phone when they could be watching their kid trying to really excel.
I tell you, sports keeps kids out of trouble. It gives them something. It gives them something to, interacts with other kids and how to interact with other kids. You got people like when I was growing up, I was so aggressive and a little guy. I wasn't a big guy, but I had to try harder. Today, to get that trophy, earn that trophy, not give me a trophy. I'm not for that.
Yeah,
it takes the I have pride coming from Columbus Park, man. We were good. A lot of good athletes out there. A lot of good athletes from Columbus Park, and you had pride when you played back then. Win, lose, it's like
I can't stand that nowadays because with the
you don't earn it. You got to earn it,
and everybody has to get equal time.
You got to
earn it.
Dude, I can imagine how some of the hardcore
coaches would
have reacted to that. No, you have to play Tom. Like, are you fucking kidding me? The game is within one run. We're not putting Tom at second base, you dick. They're just going to steal on him.
Exactly. effort. I tell you, you don't get effort today.
I think it's a
played the
bad
game.
message.
It's
Oh,
effort
well.
isn't there today. You're finding very few
I
athletes
think it
that will
teaches
even
bad,
dive for a
like
ball.
bad. Yeah,
You guys,
I think it teaches like a bad standard where kids now, like, cause even my little guy who's 7, but everybody has to play a certain amount of minutes or snaps or whatever. And I think it hurts them in the long run because when they get to upper levels, whether it be junior high or high school, the best players are going to play.
Why it's not
And
competitive. It's
I think
competitive. There's no
It hurts
competitive.
them in the long run.
Hey, Mike Casello, were you ready to move on to a different topic, or I forgot if we had another thing that we wanted. I know
We
we're
do.
over an hour now.
Yeah, we have one last topic. We're going on the Red Sox today. Well, shout to Marcus Morris last night too, by the way. Mook, he's been incredible. He was incredible for the Clippers these last few weeks. So shout to Marcus Morris. We should never lost him. He should come back. That's where I stand. But also the Red Sox today they've been crushing the Royals. They killed 15-1 today. And Rafael Devers is sitting with 20 home runs and 69 RBIs. 69 RBIs.
That'll be more impressive if Shohei Ohtani wasn't tying Babe Ruth's records every day. But still, it's impressive. Dave, you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
I made this declaration, I think it was 2 years ago. No, actually, it was many more than 2 years ago. Whenever Kevin Durant won the MVP, I declared halfway through the season, as I'm going to declare right now, find someone to let you borrow $1 million and bet it on Ohtani being the MVP. You're going to double your money this year. Right now. Do it right now. If I had somebody that would, I called this out when Kevin Durant halfway through the season, it was a shoo-in. It's not like I'm a rocket scientist. Right now, Ohtani, $1 million, you're going to get at least 2-1. Win yourself $1 million or run from your friend, whoever you borrowed it from. I don't care.
So isn't the Red Sox? Doesn't the Red Sox have the best record in baseball right now, or pretty close to it?
Best in the American League, I think. Are we the best in the AL? I'm not 100. I do know obviously we're in first, but I don't know if we're the best in the AL.
I think they were 51-31. I think they're pretty close to the top.
Best in the league.
So
JD is sitting with 17 home runs and 55 RBIs. Hunter Renfroe is now my new favorite Red Sox.
Yeah, no, they got talent, but guess what's going to happen? I told you, I think I told you on one of the other podcasts. Cora's been skating. He's been skating right through.
Not yet, Dave, not yet. It can't come from hometown.
It's coming. I'm telling you.
I know it is, but it can't come from hometown.
It's coming, guys.
I know what's coming.
The meteor, it's coming. It's definitely coming.
It hasn't happened yet. I bet it's going to happen eventually. You're 100% correct. But it hasn't.
As soon as the playoff starts, it's coming, guys.
It is coming. It is
you know
coming.
what I'm talking about, right, Mike?
How about, yes. Oh, it's a 100%.
He's skating under the bus. They just asked him an issue on why he doesn't check people docking the baseball. Yeah. He doesn't even want to talk about that issue. He doesn't want to talk. Well, it's happening all in baseball. It's happening. It's been happening.
Look at Garrett Cole.
Yeah, it's still happening.
Garrett Cole hasn't been the same since they locked down on it. Garrett Richards too. They're saying Garrett Richards was a user of it. A lot of these pitchers.
Yeah. My favorite part of that whole saga has now been going on for like a couple months now. They started talking about cracking down, then crack down, is when the dudes are doing nothing and they literally take their belt off, their hat off, drop their gloves, and like,
Scherzer.
Yeah, a couple guys have done that, right? They're like, you fucking dick, I'm actually a good pitcher. Do you not figure that out yet?
Max Scherzer undid his belt. Max Scherzer undid his pants and was like, "Go ahead, check me, bitch."
They got some serious talent, man. They got some, even in the minors. They can make some good moves.
They are fun.
I'm telling you, he's gonna get it
You
in
saw
the end.
Pedro. You saw Pedro come out and say, "All you need is sweat and rosin."
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can do it with sweat and rosin. Imagine you're just changing the texture and the mixture. I mean, are they allowed? They're not
Greatest
allowed
of all
water
time.
bottles, but they can get water bottles every time they're in the dugout, wet their hands or hair, and then have water to mix with the rosin.
No doubt.
It's
The greatest pitcher of all time came out. The greatest pitcher of all time came out and said, "All you need is sweat and rosin."
Yep.
Yeah, and you can mess with it a little bit, I guess. I never was able to throw hard enough that it would make a difference. So what the fuck did I care? But yeah, I can tell.
Tom, I heard you threw 63 at a carnival one time.
Absolutely. That is the highlight of my athletic career.
Yeah, the Italian Festival, 1981.
Sure.
Down on Quincy.
Yes. Awesome. Well, guys, listen.
Mount Carmel.
We're gonna wrap this up. We great show tonight, guys. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I know you've had a tough week. God bless you, man. I'll be around. I'll get in touch with you tomorrow. I'm gonna be around that way. So we appreciate it. We've had you in our thoughts, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Dave, God bless you and your whole entire family.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll be praying for you and thinking about you.
Same back, right back at you guys, right back at you. You got any problems, man? Work it out, man. Let's wake up.
You know it, my man. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Dave.
Hey, Michael, we appreciate it. OG Shamrock Holmes once again in the building. Thank you for your input tonight. It was priceless.
Always love it. Nothing but love.
Thanks, Mike. You always have an interesting appearance. This one is cool with I don't know what you look. You look like you're bundled up for winter. But I'm gonna use.
He started in the back corner. You morphed.
I know. Yeah, it's so weird. But anyway, we got to do a quick shout out. Platts Landscaping, right? Out of West Boylston, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that next. Michael,
excellent.
Thank you again.
God bless, guys.
Later.
Link, as always, happy anniversary. I appreciate you coming back. Glad you shook the jet lag off. Well, another good episode for us tonight, my man.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting one. That reminds, I don't want to, you can stop recording. Did you already stop recording?
I will in a minute. I'll call you in a second. Let me shut this down. I'll call you back in a second.
Yeah. Do what you gotta do. Talk to you later.
I got you, my man. Everybody, that was a great episode tonight, man. We're looking forward to a few new guests coming up here. I hope you guys are ready for this, but we're growing. Another big, huge shout to my man. Let me see if I can get the screenshot again. All right, we're looking at Platts Landscaping, our lead sponsor again tonight. Go see Sarah Friday, Saturday, Sunday out at Four Seasons Nutrition, North Brookfield, 23 Summer Street. Also, check out my man Bradley, 12 Exchange Street out in Barry. Go get your teas, guys. It looks good, feels good. You don't need energy drinks anymore. It's gonna help you skin tone, everything. I mean, they got a mix of everything you need. So once again, guys, thank you. Another episode in the books. We appreciate it. We look forward to the next one. Stay tuned for the guests we got coming, guys. That's all I'm gonna tell you right now. Promotional value. Have a great night, guys.